Hi everybody, and welcome back to our Ultimate Smart Shed build series. In the last few episodes, we built the shed walls, cladded them with structural OSB sheeting, and then fixed the frame down to the concrete using concrete anchor bolts. In this episode, I'll be building the roof, installing the ridge beam, the common rafters using birdmouth joints, building the overhang for the fascia and sofit, and finishing off with additional structural OSB and some breathable membrane. So let's get started by getting a double top plate in place to get everything more structurally solid and the walls firmly locked in place. Okay, so this is the first piece of the wall plate that's going to go on top of each of the walls. This one, I've been careful to go across the joint of the front wall and the side wall. So when the wall plate goes on and you drive a screw here and here, that's just going to lock all these walls even more firmly than they already have. I've left a 30 centimeter overhang, and that's going to be the start of the ladder where I do the fascia and the soffit. So I just get these screwed in and squared up, and then I'll be back. Okay, so on the top plate you can see there's the original plate for the wall, and that's the double top plate that I put on top. That goes across and locks down into the front wall, so that gives it a lot more rigidity. I've also taken the opportunity to come out 300mm, which will help me form the fascia and soffit, and I've also marked here centres for the roof joists. So I think they were 16-inch centres. I've also made sure that that top plate on the end wall is as parallel and square as possible to the top plate on that one, which will make life easier when I'm making the roof joists. And then for the top plate, this is a slightly bigger beam. It's 40mm by 150, so it's bigger. So by the time you get the angle on the beams, I'll have a full face of wood connected here for maximum support, completely level on the top. And then I've got two temporary supports here, one this side, one that side. They'll come off once the roof's built. And then for getting the ridge beam in the right place, I've marked the center line and the width of the ridge beam, and then I've offset the vertical support to the outer edge. I've done that on both sides, and then I've just I clamped and then screwed in the top of the ridge beam. Again, I've got a 300mm overlap for the fascia and soffit front and back. So the next job is to mark out the roof joists coming down from the top plate all the way to the top of the ridge, which means we've got to do some angled cuts and some bird mouths. So I've just rested on one of the roof joists in place, just lightly. So the plan is, if I can, without using any roofing squares or protractors, is to make one roof joist with the bird mouth in this end, and then if everything's square, I can just use that as a template to make the others. So I'm going to try and do that in a nice simple way that everyone can follow along with. The only thing that I did measure when I put the upright in, that's 2 foot, and along here is 6 foot, so that degree is 20 degrees, which is the angle I need for the slate roof that I'm planning. So first of all, I'm going to cut just a rough angle there. Just guess that for now, and you'll see why in a minute. So let's get on and do that. Okay, so I guess cut the angle, and you can see it was almost perfect, but it doesn't matter, it's just a guess. At the top here you can see I've banged a nail into the top of the roof joist, and I've come 33mm down and put the nail in, 33 being about 30% of the diagonal width of this joist. And then when I've done that, I've held up a spirit level or any flat item against the ridge beam, and then I've just drawn a new line here. Oops, camera's moving. Then I've just drawn a new line here, so this line is now parallel with the ridge beam, which is what we want. Now let's go to the other end of the joist. Okay, so at the other end of the joist, where we want to cut the bird's mouth here, I just put a square on the top plate, and then using the same spirit level, anything the same gauge, just to mark and draw another parallel line. So that one, by the time we cut that to that line I marked up here, this line will then move across. And then the next thing we need to do is just measure the same from the base here up here 33mm, the same as we put the nail in, 33mm to the top, and then when you get to the top of 33mm, draw a line that's level or at 90 degrees to that across, and that will give us the bird mouth. So let me just go and mark that out. It's hard just holding the camera in one hand. Okay, so that's all marked out. So again, 33mm rise, which is the same as a 33mm drop down from the top to where I put the resting nail in there, and then at the top of that at 90 degrees I've come across. So now if I cut that angle on the parallel line that I marked up there and then cut here and here, that should then just drop down and form my bird's mouth. And then if that works, and if all my ridge plates are square and parallel, I can then use this as a template to create the others. So let's go and cut it and see how it fits. Okay, that's my first ever bird's mouth, and you can see perfect fit on the top and on the bottom, and at the very top up there, I don't know if I can zoom in, we've also got a perfect fit up there. So I'm going to call that a win. So I'm going to call this a template and use that to mark the others. Before I do that, I'll just make sure that they fit on all four corners so I know I can cut them all the same. Okay, with the first rafter cut perfectly, I've just marked this one up as a template, and then I'll use this one only to mark the others before I cut it. If you keep using successive ones, the beam will get slightly bigger each time, which we don't want. So I'm going to go ahead and mark these out and cut more. Now it's just a matter of laying the template on top of a fresh beam and marking with a pencil, and then going to the bird's mouth and doing the same, and then just cutting these out until I've got all 14 that I need. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so making good progress. I've got a couple of the roof joists on. You can see I've attached them to the ridge beam. I've got a screw at the top, there's a screw underneath, and then at the bottom at the bird's mouth I've got a couple of screws going in at the top and one from the side. So that's all going well. I'll just keep continuing to install those. I thought I'd just show you one of the bird's mouth joints. So this is the front ridge beam, joist coming from the top of the ridge down. You can see the bird mouth, and it's really nice snug fit. That gives it much more surface area when you screw into it, so it's much more mechanically solid. Gives a really sturdy joint, so it's worth taking your time and getting all the angles right. So with these first two joists now attached, you can see why I left these extended pieces on the ridge and then the two top plates, because it means I can fix these outer joists, which will help me form the fascia and the sofit. Okay, so all the roof joists are all on. Just another view from above. So before I can take out these temporary supports, which I used just to keep the ridge beam in place while I was putting the beams on, I'm going to run some, you can see that there, some supports which go from the rafters on the edge directly above the roof plate. So this will spread the load from the roof down onto the front and rear edge roof plate, and I'll do that by cutting out these pieces of upright 4x2. I'll probably do them directly above the 4x2 joists in the front and rear wall, just to help spread the load. So the uprights are very simple to make. Piece of 4x2, just rest that on the top plate, overlapping the top beam, and then with a pencil just scribe a line on the other side, cut that off, and then screw it in place. Okay, and then once that's cut, just pop it on top of the plate and then slide that into place. There you go, perfect fit, top and bottom. And we need to do now is just drive a few screws down into there and one into the top. Not only do these transfer the load from the top beam down to the top plate, and therefore down through the uprights. That's also going to give me an external surface to bolt some more or screw some more OSB on, just to seal off these outer faces. So let's go ahead and screw these in and then repeat all the way along and on the back beam as well. So the front wall's finished. I've got all these uprights in, so the roof is now, the load's being transferred down into this top beam and therefore into the walls. I've taken out, if you look on the back, which I've not finished yet, there was the temporary brace there to get the ridge beam in place. That's now gone and completely supported by the other beams. So I just repeat on this side now, and then we're ready to put the top sheets of OSB upon the roof joists. Okay, so the vertical supports in are on the back wall. They're all in on the front wall as well. Next thing to do is to cut the joist overhang off at the same distance as the front overhang. So on the front there, the soffit distance is 300mm to the outer edge. So what I've done is I've measured from here out horizontally, marked a line using a spirit level, just gone up at the 300mm point. So I've also done that at the other end. You can see the line there. All I need to do now is get a string line, go across, and then chop them all off. Okay, so there's one last job to do before I can put the OSB sheet on the roof. Around the wall plate where the joists come down, you can see there's a gap there which we need to fill. I've cut some 4x2 to go in there, but as you can see, that's going to go above the edge. What I've done on this one is cut at an angle, a taper, so that that matches. So all you need to do, or all I've done, is marked a pencil line here and at the other end to get the angle. I know the angle because it's the same as the pitch of the roof, which is 20 degrees, and then you just need to set your skill saw at the same angle, follow a line across here and make that cut. So I'll just do that one so you could see how I did it. So you can see on the skill saw there's an adjustable angle here, so if you look down you can see the blade is at that 20-degree angle I mentioned, and then on the piece of wood you can see where I scribed the pencil lines. So I did one at each end and then joined that up. But what I've also done, if you noticed, I've marked a 4mm offset, because once you take the skill saw off of 90, the place where the blade hits does not necessarily match the 0 line, so it actually comes in 4mm less. So marking the offset on here by 4mm, by the time it's cut it will go straight down that line. All done, so you can see the guideline remains and it's cut on the original line that we needed. So once these are in, not only will it seal up the gap between underneath the roof board and the top plate, it's also going to give some more stability to the roof joists, as these can be screwed down onto the top plate, and then I can put some screws through the side into the joists themselves. So let me get all the others done and then we'll be ready for the roof OSB board. Okay, so these infill pieces are all screwed down. I've used 2 100mm times 6mm bolts. I've not done it on the outside because that's where the fascia and the soffit's going to be, and that needs air for breathing, circulation, and to stop any damp. So that's all on. And you can see that not only is this going to give me a place to put the OSB on the outside, it's also going to give some lateral strength and bracing to the joist. So this all adds for additional rigidity. And you can see from the outside there, that's filled in the gap and really is bracing in the ends of these joists. Okay, with the roof structure all complete, we need to get these sheets of OSB onto the roof. I'm on my own, so I'm going to need to think of a way of getting that up there single-handedly. So what I'll probably do is put these battens, screw them one on here and one on there, so at least when I slide it up the OSB can't slide down and fall off until I get a few screws in it. The OSB is 8 foot by 4 foot, or 2,440 mil by 1,220 mil, 11 mil thick. OSB is structural, so screwing that to all the joists at the top is just going to make the whole structure of the shed more rigid. So I'll get these battens screwed in, and then we'll lift up the first sheet. Okay, so that's the first sheet of OSB just up. You can see there the battens just held that on nicely. One there and one there. So now I can string lines down for the main roof beams and get this screwed in. And I'll do the other side and then do the cuts for the last two pieces to take me up to the ridge. Okay, so let's get the other side on in the same way. Push that up, lock that into place. And that one's up. Now let's get that screwed down. Okay, so the OSB's all up on both sides. If you take a look from the inside, you can see it up there, all on. Let's go take a look from the top. Here it is from the top. You can notice at the ridge I've left a small expansion gap. That's about a centimetre and a half. And if you look, I've run some string lines down following the joists, and I've put screws every 200 to 250 millimeters, so this is plenty secure. So next thing to do is to get some membrane up here to give it some partial waterproofing. Okay, so this is the membrane I'm going to be using. I'm going to wrap this over the roof for now to partially waterproof it, and then I'll also do it all around the doors as well. So this is 50 meters in length by 1 meter. Hopefully 50 meters is enough. If not, I'll get some more. But you can see here some of the benefits. Highly breathable, lets moisture out of the building, pretty hard wearing, UV resistant, but more importantly it gives it some temporary weatherproofing protection. So while you're mid-build, before I put the roofing tiles on, and if any rain gets through a broken tile, it will give the shed underneath some protection. So I'm going to cut this in strips and then staple it up on the roof, overlapping as needed, so the rain or any water will just run and drip off. So let's get that done. Okay, so there's the first strip of the membrane down. It's got these useful grid lines on it, so that was quite easy to cut. I've left about 50 millimeters overhang at this bottom edge, and I'll tuck that under the guttering. I've also left about 20 mil, 30 mil over there, so I'll just going to continue probably 2 more strips. I'll do a bit of overlap to make sure as the water runs down it will just drip off the end into the gutter. So I've just stapled this down, simple stapler. You can see staples every now and again, not too many, just to hold it down until I can get the roofing battens on. So I'll go ahead and just lay a few more strips of this membrane. So that's the roof structure all complete and ready for tiling. Next time we'll get this roof completely finished. I've decided to go posh and use slate tiles. You really won't want to miss this episode. If you found this video helpful, please give it a big thumbs up and leave a comment below. I really do love hearing your thoughts. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next part of this build. You can also check out the full playlist right here to see every step from the very beginning. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everybody.